It's time for Around the Gridiron with your co hosts, Marissa Voss and Brock Aker.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Gridiron. I'm Brock Aker, and I'm joined here with Marissa Voss. It's just the two of us today, no guest, but that's okay because we have a lot to talk about with the regular season now being over. We're down to 14 teams. Those 14 teams don't include the Patriots or Vikings, and that's like the first time in 20 years. So we're going to be unbiased here. So we'll do our playoff predictions, our picks. I'll tell you what my NFL challenge lineup is for the playoffs. If you go to NFL.com, you can still play fantasy. And the rules are very thorough and in-depth, but basically I'll explain the strategy behind my lineup and why I think it could win you some money if you decide to play that. And then finally, we'll end with our over-under, which has been popular. It's going to be on every show now we do during the regular and postseason. Obviously, we can't do that during off-season with no games, but we're going to make that a thing now each and every week. There's football, and then, of course, we still will end up with a lock-in upset. So before we get into the playoff bracket predictions, how are you doing here today, Marissa? I know is it snowing where you're at? We're in a not blizzard because it's not windy, but it's coming down pretty good here in Sioux Falls.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's not snowing at all. No, it's not. It was actually like 36 degrees today, so that was really nice. I had to do a story. I had to go to get some people got COVID-19 vaccines, so I talked to some people and saw that process. So that was pretty cool and exciting. But no snow. Like I did a stand up in front of the camera and I was just wearing this and it was nice.
Yeah, I'm glad. Maybe if that's the luck, I'll be back in Minnesota next week, and hopefully the snow stays in South Dakota. But are you sad the Vikings? Last question of the Vikings, you have to bring up the Vikings of Pats one time. Are you sad that the Vikings won this past week and dropped a couple spots in the draft?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of like anticlimactic for us to just be like, oh my God, let's try to win it. Like, I think it's more like when you have those victories, right? Like, it's more for the players. It's more for like the team aspect of them to end on a note, versus anything else. I think they just wanted to do that because as someone who's supporting them and we want to get a higher draft pick, it's like, why would you do that? We don't need it. Our season's already been bad, a fan's point of view. So for a fan, I think it's a little different, but I think if you're, coming from an athlete, the last win, it's everything to you. When you end your season, if you can end on a win, it's everything. So I think that's just kind of where they want, especially with a hard season that they've been through. So I don't really stand it, but at the same time, it's like all the picks that we need aren't like dire. Like we probably need dire defense, but I don't know, you can get a first rounder for that and all those other things. So, I mean, it's not like we're looking for a QB or a star running back or a star wide receiver or anything because we've already got those guys. We're probably looking more, and we have some cornerbacks that are young that'll grow. So just looking to fill the gap more than anything. So I'm not super upset, I guess. I mean, same could be said for you, Because did you guys win? You guys won, didn't you?
Yeah, we beat the Jets pretty good in the second half. It was tied, I think, going into halftime, but Cam Newton had 4 touchdowns, including a touchdown reception. So he went out, at least if he retires now, because he didn't look good at the most of the year until the last game. At least he can say his last game he had 4 touchdowns and he was on the half a day, which NFL tweets out at the players that go off. So he went off. I don't know if that's as good as Peyton Manning or Ray Lewis after winning a Super Bowl, retiring, but he went off with 4 touchdowns against the Jets. So at least he had some momentum.
Is that the talk? Wait, that's the talk that Cam Newton's going to retire?
I don't know if he's going to retire. He hasn't said he is. And I think he wants to still play. But with his ego, attitude, I don't see him being a backup quarterback. I feel like if he goes anywhere, he's going to have to be told he's going to be the starter. And I think there's 32 quarterbacks that are better than him right now. And then you have the draft coming in. I don't see Cam Newton probably playing another down of football possibly. That might be a cold take, but he was not good this year. And going 4 touchdowns against the Jets, I still don't think will save his career.
No, I guess that makes a lot of sense. It's just like he's always been a solid QB. So I think this year is super abnormal, but I don't know if 1 year is like you're done, you're over, your has been. I want to see maybe if he was bad again this year, that like this upcoming year, then maybe giving the towel, throwing the towel. But I don't know. I think it takes a lot to even talk about a new QB meshing with a team. That's a lot to have a QB come in and mesh and try to work together, and then all of a sudden, like you got to learn the offense, you got to learn how Bill Belichick works, you got to learn how the offensive coordinator works, the special teams, all of those things. You got to learn how to be a team leader to some people that you have never played with before. I think that's got something to say though, for sure. And I wouldn't say as a Pats fan to just be like, yeah, he's done, he's over. But he's not. He didn't do good, obviously. But I mean, I guess I don't know what everyone else thinks, but is that enough? I mean, is that enough to say you're done? We've had Kirk Cousins for the last how many years, and he's been on and off. So we're still having him. We're still going strong. So I don't know. He's got a lot to say with the program and Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with COVID. He didn't have a lot of time to be in the system. Obviously, he didn't sign until July. But the thing about Cam Newton, what he did so well with Carolina is improv. When the play breaks down, he'd break sacks, he'd go running for like 30 yards. He does a lot when plays just blow up. He can save you. That was not the case at all in New England. When plays did blow up, he had not even when they didn't blow up, he had plenty of time to find a receiver. He would spike the ball into the ground, or he would see a lineman come right at his face and he'd just take the sack. He wouldn't escape. If he's not able to run, he's not going to have a career. And that's why the people that were hating on Lamar Jackson and quarterbacks like that they fell is because they thought, yes, they might have a couple good years like Cam Newton, but they're going to be out of the league after they take so many hits. And I think Cam Newton is going to teach Kyler Murray and those younger and Lamar Jackson how important it is to start sliding and getting down, because Cam Newton, he was an MVP, just barely lost in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. And within about 5 years now, all of a sudden, his career is probably over because of all the hits he's taken. And even just look at how big Cam is. Cam's doubled the size of both of those quarterbacks, and he's just barely in his 30s, and his career might be over now. So I think it's fun to watch Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson, but I think they better be – their best idea is not in the playoffs, but in the regular season, definitely get down before you take a hit. Don't get that extra yard. But like going into the playoff bracket, now let's go there. I know you're still getting your Super Bowl – some of your winners here. So I'll start with the wild card games with Lamar Jackson. And I think that's the closest game according to Vegas. That's the closest when you go by who's favored. The Ravens on the road, they're actually favored by 3.5 points. That's the closest spread of any of the 6 games this weekend. I like the Ravens in that one a lot. You'll see when we go through this postseason. I like the Ravens to go all the way. And I think going against the Titans might be their biggest test before they obviously probably have to run into, I think the Steelers next week. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Derrick Henry has made the Ravens look like a fool. He ran over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns in the playoffs last year. And then he got the game-winning touchdown this year in overtime against Baltimore earlier in the season. It's still going to be a close game. That's why they're only favored by 3 points. But I just think Lamar Jackson's finally going to get off the schneid. I can't imagine him going 0-3 in the postseason. Like, they're due. I like the Ravens to knock off the Titans. The stick in the AFC, we'll just go to the AFC first. I like the Steelers beating the Browns. I honestly thought the Browns were going to be the Steelers before COVID-19 and Kevin Stefanski was going to coach. But now with him getting COVID-19, Stefanski's up for Coach of the Year. Like, he might win that award. That's a huge loss for the Browns. He and Baker, the way he called plays, like, Baker was on fire. Like, he looked like a great quarterback this year. He proved a lot of Colin Cowherds and the doubters that he can be a quarterback in this league, and he can be one of the better ones. I think Stefanski's going to be huge for him, and I think the Steelers will beat them this week pretty easily now. And then this is the game that I'm most excited for, and all the 6 games is the first game that starts the postseason off, and that's the Indianapolis Colts at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by like 6.5 points, and they're the hottest team in the NFL right now. And if you look at a lot of people's power rankings, the Colin Cowherd's rankings, Pro Football Talk, their rankings, the Bills are number one on the rankings. I think that's crazy, as the Bills haven't won a playoff game, I don't think, here in the 2000s. And all of a sudden, they've won the division for the first time since like the 90s. And now you'd think they wouldn't have any pressure. Like them winning the division, their fan base has to be ecstatic and be like content because they finally knocked off the Patriots. But now that there's so much pressure that every power rankings you look at, they're ranked at best in the NFL. I feel like there's some pressure on Buffalo. And on the other hand, the Indianapolis Colts, they don't have any pressure. If there was the postseason format was like last year, the Colts would not get in. I think they're going to play with house money. Jonathan Taylor, 250 yards last week, a couple scores against the Steelers. He had 2 touchdowns. He's on fire. If it wasn't for Derrick Henry and his December heroics, Jonathan Taylor is the second best running back in the NFL right now. And in the postseason, Jonathan Taylor is exactly what the Bills do not want to see, because the Bills, one kryptonite we talked with Steffi is the run defense. And now they're going to have to face Jonathan Taylor. So I think that's the game to watch. I think that's on upset alert, and I'm actually going to take the Colts to upset the Buffalo Bills. Going in the NFC, are you still with me, Marissa?
Oh, I'm with you.
You hash out. Did you pick any of the wild card games?
Yeah, so I got, guys, this is what I've got. I'm going to go rapid fire here. I've got the Bills winning, followed by the Seahawks, Buccaneers, Titans, Saints, and I did have Cleveland, but I'm very skeptic, like you said, because of COVID-19, them losing Stefanski. Haven't they lost other players due to COVID-19 too? I mean,
yeah, I wonder if Denzel Ward's going to come back. That would be huge. He was out this past week to COVID. I think he could be coming back. There's not a clear cut because if you test negative a couple of times, you can still play, and they play the last game, so there's still a lot of players up in the air. There's no one really ruled out yet for players other than Stefanski, their head coach.
Yeah, and that's like the hardest thing though, is like when your coach is out, who's going to step in, right? Who is that person that knows the team inside and out? I mean, that's just hard, especially with the way that Stefanski and Baker Mayfield mesh together. I don't know if I have confidence in that. I hope maybe they do. That would be a great upset, but right now, yeah, I got to go with the Steelers winning that game. Unfortunately, it's just the way the world works. And then divisional wise, you go for it, Brock.
I'm bad at organization. Let's stick with the AFC. So I have the Colts, Ravens, Steelers. You had the Bills, Ravens, or did you have the Titans? Who did you pick in that one?
Oh, for divisional wise?
No, in the game this week, the Titans and Ravens.
Oh, I had the Titans.
You have the Titans. So we differ on 2. We agree on the Steelers. Okay, now go to the divisional winners, the AFC. So in your case, you picked the Bills and the Steelers. So they would play each other 2 and 3, and then the Titans would play the Chiefs. So who do you got, Titans or Chiefs?
Titans or Chiefs? Obviously, I've got the Chiefs. I got to go with them just because I think that they're just better than the Titans. I don't know. I think it's shocking that you would pick like the Colts and the Ravens and all that. But I got to go with the Chiefs in that one.
Okay, and then Steelers at Bills.
Bills Mafia, baby. Bills Mafia.
Okay, so I had the Colts, Ravens, Steelers. So in my case, the Colts would be playing the Chiefs. And I actually have the Colts knocking off the 2-seed Bills and the 1-seed Chiefs. If you go back to last year, the Colts went into Kansas City on Sunday night in the Arrowhead, beat Patrick Mahomes, and their quarterback was Jacoby Brissett. I'm actually not a big Phillip Rivers guy, but I think his Hall of Fame status hinges on this postseason because this might be his last run.
He's got 9 kids. He's got to go take care of a freaking cult. Like, he's got to go take care of his, 7,000 billion kids.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They might, they're not used to him playing until February because that hasn't happened. I don't think it's going to go that far yet. But the excuse that Rivers, pro Hall of Fame Rivers, people are saying is he's never made the Super Bowl because he's always had to go against Peyton Manning and the Colts and Tom Brady with the Patriots, and they're like the two best quarterbacks in the NFL. All right, they're both gone now. Patrick Mahomes is not much easier, I know, and Josh Allen is playing having a hell of a season as well. But to make a Super Bowl in any year, you're going to have to go against good quarterbacks and good teams. And I think because of what he has around him, he has one of the best running backs in the league right now. He has one of the best offensive lines. He has a top 5 defense. And I think the Colts really do line up well against the Chiefs and the Bills, because to beat those two teams, you need to run the football, waste clock, keep them off the sideline, and you have to be able to go for it. And Phillip Rivers is pretty good on 4th down. So I actually have the Colts upsetting the Chiefs. And then I have the Ravens upsetting the Steelers. Very hard to beat a team 3 straight times. And this year, the Steelers swept the Ravens. And then you go back to when I picked the Ravens against the Titans. The Titans beat the Ravens last year in the playoffs, and the Titans beat the Ravens this year. The Ravens have a revenge tour going, I think, in the first 2 games, and I like them a lot. So I got the Ravens beating the Chiefs. So I got the Ravens and Colts then. All right, and you who do you got then going in the AFC Championship? Who do you got winning in your bracket, Marissa? The Chiefs or Bills?
Give me the Bills, baby. No one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. They are on fire. On fire. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Obviously, Stephon Diggs, the leader for wide receiver this year. I mean, what they're doing is amazing, and you've got Josh Allen up for, I think hopefully should be up. I thought he should up for Dark Horse MVP or something along the lines of that. Obviously, though, you've got Patty Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers going for that, and Aaron Rodgers actually is looking like the favorite in that end, which is kind of sad, but I also know that, respect the game. Aaron Rodgers is doing incredible right now. I gotta respect him. I don't like it, but I do have to respect the game. He's in like the F everyone mode, like I've said time and time again, like he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna be amazing, so F you guys. But no, I gotta take my Bills.
I wonder if people play a drinking game every time you talk about circling the wagons when you talk about the Bills. It comes out every episode when you talk about Buffalo.
PMT, baby. PMT. Pardon my take. That's amazing.
All right. So
every single time.
You agree then with most of the analysts then. You're really high on the Bills. I could see it. They definitely have the offense. Josh Allen looked good, even though I have them losing in 2 days against the Colts.
Crazy.
Well, I don't have the Colts going all the way, all right? I have the Colts, so a 7 seed going against a 4 seed, or the 5 seed, yeah. So I have a 7-5 seed AFC Championship game while you got 1 and 2 seed. But I'm going to take the Ravens to beat the Colts. The Ravens beat the Colts earlier this year when they didn't really play a good game. Their defense really helped them. I think the Ravens are a complete team. And I have the Ravens upsetting, or not upsetting the Indianapolis Colts. I guess at that point, the Ravens would be favored because they'll be at home. So I got the Ravens winning the AFC. You have the Bills. All right. I like this organization now. I was a little off the cuff, but we're sticking by conference. Now
we're going for it.
Let's go to the NFC now. Wild card. We got our AFC champion. Wild card, NFC. Who do you got then? You said you got the Seahawks. And who do you got, Bucks or football team on Saturday?
Yeah, so I got the Buccaneers. I just don't have much faith in the Washington football team. So that's my big one, is that I got to go with the Bucks on that one just because of Gronkowski and Tom Brady, 43 touchdowns. Come on, you got to go for it.
And then Bears or Saints?
We all know that I'm a second Saints girl, even though I'm not a huge fan of Sean Payton. Obviously, I still have that grudge over what he did for the bounty, but I like Drew Brees and I like what they're doing with Kamara and Michael Thomas and even Taysom Hill. I'm a Taysom Hill fan, but I gotta go with the Saints on this one just because it's the Bears too. Like Mitchell Trubisky, I just want them to lose. because I think I wanted the Vikings there. And I wanted the Vikings there to play the Saints like they have and then beat them in the first round of the playoffs and just like, if there's a choice, Vikings or Saints, I'm going to go with my Vikings. But if there's a choice between Saints and anyone else, I'm going to go with Saints. But, I wanted the Vikings to be there, hopefully, and do another, upsetting Minneapolis Miracle, Kyle Rudolph one-hand touchdown. But just doesn't work that way. So give me the Saints.
Yeah, you still have to be in the minority. Not many Vikings fans like the Saints. But I agree.
Yeah.
I think the NFC is all chalk this weekend. I think the Seahawks beat the Rams no matter who the quarterback is. McVay is saying that they're not going to say who's the quarterback until they play right on Saturday. I still like the Seahawks in that one. The Bucs obviously are going to beat the Washington football team, who I guess you always deserve it if you win the division because that's the rules, but they're not a playoff football team. So the Bucs will handle them pretty easily. And then I think the Saints, I don't think it's even possible for them to lose 4 times and get upset because the Minneapolis Miracle, the pass interference with the Rams, and then the Vikings upset them last year. They're heartbreak. They can't break anymore. Like Drew Brees, I don't know how he'd be able to move on.
I don't know how he'd function.
Yeah, like
just
you'd have
die of a broken heart.
Well, he already has 11 broken ribs, and then add that heart. That can't be good for the chest, whatever area, that whole midsection. It'd be broken.
Everything, upper body. I think it's the word Brock you trying to use, upper body, respiratory.
Respiratory. Yeah,
Yeah,
I only had to
something along the lines of that.
I only had to take one science class here at Bethany, so I don't know much of the systems.
Big words confuse Brock and I.
Yeah, I stick to the 5-letter words.
Small words do trick you guys. Football
Brock
is
Aker.
good.
Okay, so you picked we both picked the same NFC teams. I think that's pretty. If there's an upset, if one of those 3 NFC teams loses, I don't think it'll just be us 2 surprised. I think it'll be the whole nation. But with that being said, the Tampa Bay Bucks then would be traveling to Lambeau Field. Who do you got, Tampa Bay or Green Bay?
You cannot tell me that Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau in second round of the playoffs isn't going to be good, isn't going to be in a mode, isn't going to be like AJ Dillon, like Devontae Adams, Lazard. Is Lazard back? I mean, there's so many players that are good, and then you've got to, and the only thing is, they got a pretty good defense too. So you can't tell me that the Bucks are going to go in, travel to Lambeau, and then beat them in the second round of the playoffs. So unfortunately, I don't like it, but I'm picking the Packers.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the only team that really stopped Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't have a touchdown pass this year against the Bucs in their 38-10 loss. But you talked about Lambeau, and when it comes to Lambeau, it comes to Lambeau officials.
Oh, my God, yes.
That could play a big part. You never want to go in there because the stripes are going to be for Green Bay. And I think Green Bay, their defense, their secondary is actually playing very good. Their secondary is pretty solid. I think they can get enough pass rush because of that to get to Brady. And I think they'll be able to knock off the Buccaneers as well. And then who do you got, Saints or Seahawks?
This one is harder than I thought because you know what? I don't know about this one. I might change my mind. I don't know. I did have the Saints, but the Seahawks have been playing so good recently as of late with their defense, and they've transformed, and then Russell Wilson's been doing better. Oh, this is so tough. No, I still got to go with – I think I still am going to go with the Saints on this one because, yes, they've been doing better, but the Saints offense and Lockett hasn't really been there, and DK Metcalf hasn't really been there much either for Russell, and even Russell hasn't had that great. He's had good, but not great. No, I'm going to go with the Saints on this one still. I was a little wavery there for a little bit. That was a little sketchy, but I'm still going to go with the Saints. Wow. I felt like Andrew there. If you guys caught
we're used to you taking your time. It's okay. You change your mind like a girl changes clothes.
It's
But
so bad.
well, I agree with you there. The NFC looks like we're in agreement. I think Marshawn Lattimore, you talked about DK Metcalf. Well, Lattimore does a really good job at shutting down Mike Evans, and DK is another big receiver like that, and Lattimore isn't afraid of that. So I think the Saints could definitely beat the Seahawks at home. So I have the Saints as well. Who do you got winning then the NFC Championship, Saints or Packers?
Saints or Packers. Unfortunately, got to do what I got to do. Packers, I have them beating the Saints. You know what I'm saying? You know what they're good. This kills me. I don't want to say it, but I choose the Packers.
I got the Packers as well. Again, they're at home at Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers has never played an NFC Championship game in Lambeau Field. I'm not going to pick against that, so I also have the Green Bay Packers. All right, we're the final one of our bracket. Who do you got then for you? Packers or Bills in your Super Bowl?
Come on, you know this. Y'all know this. I have the Buffalo Bills. I like what they're doing. I've got the Buffalo Bills. I don't want the Packers to get to the Super Bowl. I am unbiased, but that's where I draw the line. I want the Bills to win.
So the 2021 is finally the year the Bills get their first Super Bowl, according to Marissa Voss.
Yep, I don't want the Packers to get another damn Super Bowl. That and my roommate's a Packers fan, and then she just won't shut up. So I mean, I can't do that. I can't live with that. I'll probably have to go out like somewhere and like die. I don't know. Got to give me the Buffalo Bills. If they win, I might even get a Stephon Diggs jersey. I don't know. I could get a Diggs jersey if they win.
Well, I'm picking against the Packers as well. My Super Bowl, I have Lamar Jackson in it. The Packers, they struggle with run defense. Ravens, obviously the best running team in the NFL. They have Marlon Humphrey, one of the best corners in the league, will be able to stop Devontae Adams, in my opinion, enough. And I think the Ravens match up really well against the Packers, and I think they get it done. And the Ravens win their first Super Bowl since Ray Lewis. So it looks like we both have the Packers winning the NFC. You have the Bills winning the AFC. I have the Ravens winning the AFC. And you have the Bills Super Bowl champions. I have Ravens. So we'll see who ends up being the winner of here between us here on the playoff predictions. Fans who are listening to the show, what do you guys think? You can tweet at us at ATG Gridiron Pod, and then at Marissa Voss at Brockacre_9 your predictions. And we'll enjoy the NFL postseason with each other.
The Ravens. Oh my God. The Ravens. That's crazy. If that happens, I don't know what I think. I will just like sit in awe if you're right about this.
I guess that it doesn't seem to me like that big of an upset, because the Ravens are projected to win the AFC. Like the odds going into this year, I think they're projected to have the most wins. But since they are the 5 seed, there hasn't been a wild card champion since the New York Giants, I don't think, because the 2 buys, the 2 seeds, when the top 2 seeds usually had the bye until this year. I think that's going to be huge this year with only 1 team with a bye. I think you're going to see at least one wild card team make the Super Bowl, because I think the Bucs have a chance in the NFC, but I got the Packers just barely. But it wouldn't surprise me if they make the Super Bowl. I would not be surprised at all if a team that's playing on the road this weekend on the wild card somehow still makes the Super Bowl. All right. Well, going to the fantasy challenge, I'll just do this real quick. You can do that on NFL.com. Postseason challenge. It's free. You can just join different groups that are out there. I know the Fantasy Footballers has a group. I think Viking fans have a group. It's pretty easy. You can just sign up that for free and just see where you rank among the groups you add in. The little bit of strategy for that is you want to pick players that you think will go far. So if you think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, you get multiple, each round they pass in the playoffs, you get double the points. So if you pick Lamar Jackson like I do as my quarterback, and I think he goes to the Super Bowl, in the Super Bowl, his points, he gets whatever his points are times 4, because that's his 4th game. Same thing with the Chiefs. If you play Mahomes, this week. You don't get any points this week, but next week, times the amount of points he scores. So for strategy, you want to pick the players that you think will go the farthest in the postseason, so you will reap the rewards. So since you heard my picks, it's pretty simple. At quarterback, I'm going Lamar Jackson. Running back, I'm going Jonathan Taylor because I think he'll play 3 games. I think they'll knock off the Bills and the Chiefs before they lose to the Ravens. My second running back, Aaron Jones, because I think the Packers are going to the Super Bowl. I think they saved him at the end of this and at the end of the year, you talked about how A.J. Dillon's been playing good. I think he's been playing a lot because they wanted to save Aaron Jones for the postseason. I think he has a nice postseason. Of course, I have Devontae Adams, the best receiver in football this year. And then you want to combine players, especially get the connection at quarterback and receiver of the team you think is going to go far. So that's why I have Hollywood Brown of the Ravens at my second receiver and Mark Andrews as my tight end. I have the Saints winning 2 games against the Bears and then the Seahawks. So I got Will Lutz at kicker and the Saints defense as my defense. Well, who would maybe a couple players you would maybe want to target, Marissa? I know you didn't fill out a lineup, but do you have 1 or 2 playoff MVPs you might have? Which player would you want on your roster?
Honestly, I feel like at wide receiver, someone, or even like running back, someone you don't have right now is Alvin Kamara. I know he was out, or is he out this game or last game? I can't remember, but I think Alvin Kamara has been doing great football recently, and I think that he should be on that for sure. I like Devontae Adams for wide receiver. I really do. I think that he's doing great stuff. His route running is amazing, and that's just weird for me to say as a Packers or Vikings fan, but I really do like what he's doing. And then QB, Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen. His work is doing really well. He's doing very good in fantasy. And then obviously Stephon Diggs, the basically overall number 1 wide receiver this year for yardage and everything else. So those would be probably my main picks to focus on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like if you were listening to what I said, if you think your team's going to go to the Super Bowl, you want to pick those players on your team. So Marissa, like at least in my strategy, explained it perfectly. She thinks the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. So that's why she would pony up on Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, because if that happens, she's definitely going to be a winner because in the Super Bowl, Josh Allen, top 5 in fantasy points this year, and you get 4 times the amount of points he's going to get in the Super Bowl. That is obviously a strategic play there if you think the Bills are going to go all the way. All right.
Yes.
Over under time. We got to go here quick here.
Let's go.
Mitchell Trubisky this week, over under 1.5 touchdowns.
Under.
I think since he's in a dome, he's just going to barely get over. 0 touchdowns last week against the Packers. I think the Bears keep it close but lose, so I have Trubisky going over that 1.5 touchdowns. All right, Phillip Rivers, over under 266.5 yards this week.
Under.
Going under. I'm going to go over I think Josh Allen's going to still score on the Bills, so I think the Colts to win. They're still going to have to throw the football. So I think Rivers goes over. So we're going against each other's quarterbacks. All right, Nick Chubb, over under 89 yards. That's how much he averages per game this year.
I gotta say, it's playoffs. It's different times right now. We gotta go over.
You're gonna go over. I'm gonna say under. TJ Watt's back this week. Cameron Hayward's back. I think they try to take care of Nick Chubb. I'm going to go under this time. Over under Cam Akers 0.5 touchdowns. So pretty much, do you think Cam Akers will get in the end zone this week against Seattle?
I don't think so. I'm going to go under on this just because I like what Seattle's defense is doing recently as of late. So I'm going to go under on this one.
It's tough because of his ankle situation. But I think they're going to try to feed him the rock. That's their only chance is to keep Russell Wilson off the field. I'm going to take the over. So we're going at it. This is much funner than last week when we
we're all the same.
Yeah. All right. Last running back, the king of the playoffs last year, King Derrick Henry, over under 127 yards. Rushing yards.
Give me the over. Give me the over. I think this man's gonna do and be different. I have to believe it. I have to. I have them winning, right? He's gonna be
Yeah, exactly. That's why I have the under, because we disagree on that. I think that's maybe the key mark right there. If Derrick Henry gets over 127 yards rushing, I think the Titans win. If it's under, I think the Ravens win. Since I think the Ravens will win, I'll take the under on that. Over under Emmanuel Sanders 89 yards receiving.
You said 89?
Yeah, 59 yards. He averages 52 on the season.
Okay. I was like, what? Yeah, he's been pretty silent recently, especially when even when Alvin Kamara had his six touchdowns against the Vikings. He wasn't super hot. He was, but he wasn't. I think it's playoffs, it's different season. Give me the over on this. If he averages it anyways, it's gotta be playoffs, it's gotta be time to shine. Especially if Michael Thomas is still out.
Yeah,
or is Michael Thomas back in?
I think Mike Thomas is still 50-50. By the time this podcast comes out Friday morning, we probably have a better idea. But
better concrete.
I'm gonna assume he plays. But I think that will. You saw last week.
That will determine if Sanders goes over or under.
Well, I still think he probably goes over either way. This one I'll agree with you, just because Valdez-Scantling had a long touchdown last week and he dropped another one. Like that second receiver, when they try to take away Devontae Adams, they'll probably try to take away Mike Thomas. So I'm going to go over 59 yards as well. Over under 69 yards for your TikTok boy, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Corvette. I think I'm going to go. God, this is hard because. Give me the over on this, just because I don't know if I have much faith right now in this Cleveland Browns with Stefanski being out and all of that stuff. So yeah, give me the over on TikTok God Juju Smith.
I'm going to take the under on this one. It's really hard to predict which Steelers receiver is going to go off because they have three good ones. I think Juju's going to get the under here. Over under DK Metcalf. Does he get a touchdown? So 0.5 touchdowns. Do you think DK gets in the end zone this week against Jalen Ramsey?
So silent lately. Like I feel like he hasn't done much. I don't know. Give me the over. I'll just do it. Give me the over. DK's got to get in sometimes. Got to break it. I'm being nice to everyone. You get the over.
Yeah, for the most part, other than those quarterbacks at the beginning. But I'm going to take the over to DK Metcalf. Hasn't scored yet against Jalen Ramsey. I think third time's the charm he gets in the end zone this week with a victory. Same thing. Will this person get in the end zone? Mark Andrews, tight end for the Ravens. Do you think he scores?
No, I'm going to take under on this one.
Okay, I'm going to say he does get in the end zone this week. Rob Gronkowski, over under 49 yards receiving.
The Gronkster, the spiker. He's got to get over. He's different in the playoffs. And him and Brady have been on something like telepathically lately. So it's got to be the over.
Yeah, there's one bias for me in the postseason with my Patriots is I'm going to be definitely cheering for the Bucs. So I'm not going to go against my boy Gronk. So I'm going to take the over as well. I'll say mine first here on the defense. I guess you've been going first all the time. I don't know if that's a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So I'll go first.
Oh my gosh.
These last two. Buffalo's defense, 1.5 takeaways. They're tied for third in the NFL takeaways with 26 on the year. I think they're going to get the over, even though I think the Colts are still going to win. I think that game's going to be crazy. I'm so pumped for that game. That's the first game to start at noon on Saturday. I'm going to still take the over. I think the Bills do get 2 takeaways. What do you got?
Over.
Okay. And
over, baby.
Last one, of course, because you got the Bills going all the way. But the last one, Chase Young called out Tom Brady. He said he's coming for him.
I'm coming for you.
Washington as a team, over under 2.5 sacks on Saturday night. I'm going to take the under. Tom Brady's going to get the ball out of his hands. You don't talk smack to Tom Brady, just like you don't talk smack if you watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. He'll make you pay. He's going to get the ball out fast. The Buccaneers definitely win this one. I'm going to say under. What do you got?
It's the meme of Michael Jordan and his legs crossed and being like, I took that seriously. I took that personally. That's how Tom Brady's feeling right now. And all this stuff, like the memes, like there's some things like PFT commentator called out like Giselle. It's pretty graphic, so I'm not gonna say it, but it's kind of funny. So he's got to be like, oh, I'm coming for you, my man. I'm not gonna let you show me up a rookie if that. So I'm gonna take the under as well.
All right, last segment of the show, lock and upset. I got Saints locking up against the Bills. They're not gonna go out back-to-back wild card weekends at home. I got them knocking off the Bears. My upset then is the 7th seed, though, in the other conference. I do like the Colts knocking off your Buffalo Bills right away. So I got Saints and Colts here for my lock and upset. What do you got, Marissa, to end the show with?
Well, I just changed it because I'm like, I just can't say what I was going to say. I've got, obviously, my lock. You have to know I get my Buffalo Bills because if they don't win this first round, my entire predictions go down the drain. So my lock's got to be the Buffalo Bills. And my big, not really big, I guess just my, you know what? No, it's going to be a big upset. F it. I don't care. I don't know. I kind of want them to win. And I said the Steelers, but I really want the Cleveland Browns to win. So give me the Cleveland Browns beating the Steelers.
You got the Browns. I
don't know.
I can help you out here, Marissa. I can help you out. When you said your picks, you picked the Titans, and the Titans would be an upset because the Ravens are favored. So
then let's do that. Let's do the Titans then.
Titans. All right, I'm always.
So there we go. I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what to do because I was gonna choose the Washington football team. I was like, that was so bad. No, I'm not good at locking upset like Brock is, and I'm just like, okay, give me the Titans.
You got the Titans. All right. You got the Titans and Bills. I got Saints and Colts. Refresh your last. The 2 road teams that are actually favored is the Buccaneers and Ravens. So if 2 home teams that are projected not to win are the Titans and football team. The upset, Marissa has the Titans. I think that's a much easier one to get than my Colts, but I'm going bold. That's how I roll. Miller 64 and all. But that's
Miller 64.
Well, thank you for coming to us again here on Around the Gridiron. Have fun with the 6 playoff games this weekend. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. And we'll catch you next week to go over the divisional round. I'm Brock Aker. That's Marissa Voss. Marissa Voss, not boss. You are the boss.
I am the boss. I am the boss, Brock Aker. Damn straight.
All right. See you next week, everyone.